You know that feeling? You've worked so hard, you're at C1 English, you can handle most things, but, well, you hear a native speaker and think, okay, there's still another level.
Mm-hmm. It's that gap, isn't it, between being really, really good and sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely natural and effortless.
Exactly, like scaling this sheer wall. And that's what we're doing today, trying to find the handholds for that climb.
Yeah, a deep dive. We're using this source, C1 level tips, to help improve your English level. It's packed with practical stuff.
Right, so our mission here is to pull out the absolute gold, the advice that can really help you, the listener, break through that C1 plateau and get to that, mind-blowingly good level.
And we're talking about the finer points now. Things like handling tricky conversations, really knowing your vocabulary, getting that smooth fluency.
Advanced grammar bits, reading tougher stuff, making your writing shine, and getting the cultural side of things, too.
It's all those layers that build up.
Okay, so let's dive straight into conversation. Ordering a coffee? You've nailed that ages ago. Textbook stuff is easy.
Yeah, but real-life spontaneous chat, that's a whole different ballgame.
Totally unpredictable.
Exactly. The source makes a really good point about needing practice in realistic situations. Think job interviews with those curveball questions.
Oh, yeah. Or debates where you're arguing on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Or just everyday chats where the topic suddenly shifts. Or, negotiations where every single word counts.
It's about thinking on your feet.
Okay.
The source had that little dialogue snippet, right? Alex and Maria.
Yeah, talking about an ethical thing at work, whether to bend the truth a bit for the company. Classic dilemma.
And Maria's response was really interesting. She didn't just say yes or no.
No, she said something like, that's a tough call. I believe in transparency, but, in competitive markets, some might argue it's strategic. It was all about the nuance.
It's so nuanced. That's the key, isn't it? Being able to handle that complexity, that gray area.
Absolutely. And the language used reflects that. Phrases like, that's a gray area itself. It signals, hey, this isn't simple.
Right, it opens things up. And what about, I see where you're coming from.
So useful. Shows you're listening, you understand their point, even if you're about to disagree, builds rapport.
Okay, and the classic, let's agree to disagree.
Essential for keeping things civil when you're just not going to see eye to eye. The diplomatic exit.
And if I were in your shoes?
That shows genuine empathy, really trying to see it from their perspective. It makes the conversation feel more human.
Yeah, it's not just about knowing the phrases exist, is it? It's like feeling when to use them.
Exactly. Understanding their function in the whole social dynamic. That's what stops you sounding robotic.
So how do you practice that feeling?
Well, the source suggests something really practical. Record yourself. Respond out loud to prompts, maybe an ethical question. Talk about a current event. Answer a social what if.
And then listen back.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be painful.
Maybe a little. But it's so useful. You'll hear the hesitations, the places you could have been clearer, or, where maybe one of those phrases would have fit perfectly.
You spot things you just don't notice in the moment.
Precisely. And tools like VoiceThread or SpeakPipe can give you that outside perspective too, some objective feedback.
Okay, cool. So work on nuanced conversations.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, vocabulary. At C1, your word bank is pretty big already, right?
Oh, for sure. But now it's about depth, not just knowing the word, but understanding its shades of meaning, its personality almost.
Personality.
Yeah, how it behaves in the wild. The source really pushes learning words in context, ditching those endless, isolated word lists.
Because words hang out in gangs.
Basically, collocations, that's the term. Like you say strong coffee, not usually powerful coffee.
Right. Or bitter disappointment, not sour disappointment.
Exactly. Sour doesn't collocate, doesn't sound natural there. Then you have idioms, those funny ones like kick the bucket or spill the beans that make zero literal sense.
And the emotional flavor of words. Connotations.
Crucial. Think cheap versus inexpensive. They might mean low price, but cheap often whispers low quality, while inexpensive is more neutral, maybe even savvy.
Subtle, but it makes a difference in how you come across. So how do we get this deeper understanding, if not by lists?
The source recommends thematic clusters, grouping words by topic. Like, okay, this week I'm focusing on business and innovation.
So you'd pull together things like
disruptive innovation, scalable model, market saturation, profit margin, competitive edge. You see how they all relate? It builds a mental map.
yeah, connections. So it's not just the definition, but seeing it used.
Yes. Understand them in action, like disruptive innovation, what does it do? Well, think about Uber and taxis. It disrupted that market. That's the concept in action.
Okay.
Or scalable.
An app is scalable if it can handle millions of users smoothly. You need that real-world picture.
Right, so you can actually use the word confidently, not just recognize it. Makes sense. Okay, next up. Fluency. That smooth, natural sound.
Yeah, sounding effortless. The source has a great tip here.
Yeah.
Shadowing.
Shadowing, like following someone. Kind of. You listen to a native speaker, maybe a podcast, the news, and you repeat what they say, either right along with them or just a split second behind, like an echo.
Ooh, that sounds challenging. You'd have to really focus.
You do, but it's amazing practice. You're not just copying words, you're mimicking their pronunciation, the ups and downs of their voice, that's intonation.
The melody.
Exactly. And the rhythm, the pauses, even which words they stress in a sentence to give it meaning.
So what should people shadow? Any recommendations?
The source suggests some good ones for this level. For news, maybe The Daily from the New York Times.
Good quality audio there.
Definitely. For more conversational stuff, This American Life or TED Radio Hour are great. And if you like more academic or sciencey stuff, Radiolab or Hidden Brain.
Lots of variety, so just listening and repeating helps you absorb those natural patterns.
It really does. It trains your ear and your mouth, basically. You start to internalize how English flows.
Cool technique. Okay, conversation, vocab, fluency. Let's tackle grammar. Now, C1 folks know their grammar generally, but there's more.
Always more. At this stage, it's about adding sophistication with more advanced, subtle structures. Things the source points out like mixed conditionals, inversion, and nominalization.
Okay, fancy names. Break them down. Mixed conditionals.
They link different times, usually an unreal past thing with its present result. Like, if I had taken that job past unreal, I would be living in New York now, present result.
Ah, connecting past choices to present situations. Got it. What about inversion? Sounds like turning things upside down.
Pretty much. You change the normal subject-verb order, often putting a negative word or adverb at the start for emphasis.
So instead of I have never seen,
You say, never have I seen. See how it adds that touch of drama or formality? Puts the emphasis right on never.
yeah, it definitely sounds more striking. Okay, and nominalization. That sounds very academic.
It often is. It's turning verbs or adjectives into nouns, makes writing sound more concise and abstract sometimes.
Example.
Instead of they decided to postpone the launch, you nominalize decided and say the decision to postpone the launch surprised everyone.
Ah, okay. Using the noun form. I can see how these add more tools to your toolbox, let you say things with more style or precision.
That's exactly it. They expand your range.
Okay, so we need to notice these and maybe try using them. Right, reading next. C1 learners read, obviously. What's the advice here?
Diversify. Get out of your comfort zone. The source says try academic journals, opinion pieces in newspapers, complex fiction, biographies, even things like legal documents or business reports.
Wow, quite a mix. Why so broad?
Exposure. You see how language works differently in all these contexts. Different vocabularies, sentence structures, ways of arguing a point.
And it's not just what you read, but how, right?
Yes, read actively. Sometimes you're scanning for info. Other times, really analyze the argument. Notice the writer's style, their tone.
Be a critical reader?
Exactly. And of course, it's brilliant for vocabulary. The source suggests keeping a reading vocabulary journal. Note down new words with the sentence you found them in.
Ah, context again. See the word in its natural habitat.
Always. It sticks so much better.
Makes sense. Okay, reading covered. Let's move to writing. Again, C1 is good, but how do we get better?
Polish. It's about style, clarity, impact. The main advice from the source is pretty blunt. Edit ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly. Sounds painful again.
It just means be tough on your own work. Cut waffle, fix awkward bits, check the flow. Specifically, aim for sentence variety, mix up long and short sentences.
Right, don't sound monotonous.
Exactly. Be really conscious of your tone. Is it right for your reader? Start paragraphs with clear topic sentences and use those linking words consequently, nonetheless, in contrast, to glue your ideas together smoothly.
Those transition words are like signposts for the reader. The source had that before and after paragraph, didn't it?
Yes, it's a great illustration. The before was something like, many people think social media is bad. It makes people feel sad. They compare themselves a lot.
Functional, but clunky.
Very. The after was, social media can negatively impact mental health by encouraging constant comparison, which often leads to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety.
Whoa. Okay, much smoother, better words, flows better. Huge difference.
That's ruthless editing in action.
Right, point taken. Now, the really tricky bit, maybe, cultural fluency and idioms.
Yeah, this is often the final frontier. Grasping those cultural bits, the jokes, the sarcasm, the idioms, the proverbs, without being immersed in the culture is tough.
Even if your grammar is perfect, you can still misunderstand things.
Yeah.
The source had some idiom examples,
It did. Like, bite the bullet means doing something unpleasant you know you have to do.
like going to the dentist.
Exactly. I didn't want to go, but I had to bite the bullet.
Okay. And the other one.
The ball is in your court, meaning it's your turn to act or decide. I've made my offer. The ball is in your court now.
Using these correctly must make you sound much more authentic.
Definitely adds that layer of native-like intuition.
So we've covered a ton of ground, and the source kind of pulls this all together into a daily routine suggestion.
Yeah, like a possible schedule for a C1 learner. It includes time for listening podcasts, music, active vocab study, like those thematic clusters.
The shadowing we talked about.
Reading diverse stuff, focused writing, and that ruthless editing, and deliberately exposing yourself to cultural things like idioms.
Sounds intense, but also quite structured, like an English workout plan.
Pretty much. And the key thing is consistency. Even small chunks of these activities done regularly add up hugely over time.
It's the compound effect. Makes it feel less daunting than trying to do it all at once.
Absolutely. It's about building habits.
So, for everyone listening, think about which of these you could realistically build into your day or week. Maybe start with one thing.
Even one small, consistent change makes a difference.
It's just taking those steady steps, refining your skills, becoming that amazing English speaker you want to be. So yeah, keep learning, keep practicing.
And try to enjoy the process. Don't forget that part.
Absolutely. Have fun with it. That's where the real learning sinks in.
Well said.
Okay, that wraps up this deep dive. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll catch up.
So you want to get smart fast, right? You're looking for the core knowledge.
Yeah, the stuff that really matters, so that can totally bog down.
Exactly. That's what we do here. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the IELTS listening test.
Okay.
We've got a guide here specifically for advanced learners, our mission. Pull out the crucial info, the best strategies, basically help you nail a band 7 or higher.
Sounds good. And, understanding this test, it's more than just a score. It really sharpens how you understand spoken English generally.
That's a great point. Okay, so the IELTS listening test. It can seem like a big B sometimes.
It can feel that way.
But this guide, it breaks down the structure pretty well. It's got 4 sections, and they definitely get more challenging as you go along.
Right. And what's interesting is how each section sort of mirrors a different listening situation, real life and academic stuff.
Exactly. Section 1, it drops you right into an everyday chat. Think like making a hotel booking.
Okay, simple enough start.
Then section 2, it shifts. It's a monologue. Like, imagine a tour guide giving information.
Got it. One person speaking.
Section 3 gets more academic. You might hear, say, university students discussing something with a tutor.
A group discussion.
And then the final one, section 4, is basically a full academic lecture.
Right, the most complex listening scenario. And each section uses different question types to test you.
Yeah, that's key. So section 1, you'll probably see form completion, filling in details, and multiple choice.
Okay.
Section 2 often brings in map labeling, which can be tricky, and sentence completion.
Map labeling. Yeah, visualizing locations.
Then section 3, you get things like matching information, maybe linking ideas or speakers, and more multiple choice.
And that final lecture, section 4.
Usually, note completion or filling in a summary really tests if you can pull out the main points from dense information.
So for you, the listener, the whole point is assessing how well you get spoken English, from like casual chats to complex lectures.
That's the core of it.
And here's the really crucial bit, the thing you absolutely have to remember.
Uh-oh, what's that?
You only hear each recording once.
Ah, yes. Only once. No repeats, no rewind.
No do-overs. You've got to be switched on. Focused listening is non-negotiable.
Right. Okay, so let's dig into those question types and the strategies the guide suggests. First up, form completion.
Okay, form completion. This is where you fill in missing bits of info names, dates, addresses, things like that, often in a practical context.
Like the guide's example, booking a room at the Grand Hotel.
Exactly, a common scenario. And the key strategy here, prediction.
Prediction. So looking at the form before the audio starts.
Precisely. Look at the gaps. What kind of word is missing? A name, a number, a place. Try to anticipate.
That makes sense. So if you see a blank labeled name, you're listening for
Spelling, most likely. You anticipate hearing someone spell out their name.
Right. And the guide has that great little audio example. Emily Carter spells C-A-R-T-E-R, and then the clarification.
S as in Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little extra bit can be vital.
It really can, because C and S can sound similar, especially over audio.
Absolutely. Paying attention to those small phonetic details is key for accuracy.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we really listen for spelling in everyday life? Unless it's like a really unusual name or place.
Not that often, probably. But here, every detail counts. Okay, moving on. Multiple choice questions.
Ah, the classic. We all know these. A question, 3 or 4 options, pick the right one.
The guide uses an example about deforestation. The speaker says the main cause is agricultural expansion, not logging or urban development.
So the question might be, what's the primary cause of deforestation? Options: logging, agricultural expansion, urban development.
Right, and the strategy the guide emphasizes.
Underline keywords in the question itself, like primary cause and deforestation, helps you focus.
Definitely. But here's the tricky part we mentioned earlier. The speaker said main cause, but the question uses primary cause.
Synonyms. You have to be listening for meaning, not just the exact words.
Exactly. Understand paraphrasing is so important. They won't always hand it to you on a plate.
They like to keep you on your toes. Okay, what about something more visual? Map labeling.
Right, map labeling. This one can feel a bit daunting. You get a map, some blank spots, and someone describes the layout or gives directions.
The guide's example is a park. Speaker says something like, enter the park, the statue's on your right. Opposite that is the cafe. Behind the cafe, the playground.
And the crucial thing here is the spatial language. Words like on your right, opposite, behind.
Those are your signposts.
Absolutely. The guide suggests actively visualizing it. Picture yourself walking in, seeing the statue, locating the cafe relative to it, then the playground.
Like building a mental map as you listen.
It really zoom in on prepositions too. Next to, between, near, far from. They give you the precise relationships.
It's not just what is there, but where it is in relation to everything else.
Good point. Okay, last one for this overview. Sentence completion.
Right. Sentence completion. Filling in gaps in a sentence that summarizes what you heard. The example used is the Industrial Revolution. Speaker says it began in the 18th century and transformed manufacturing.
And the incomplete sentence is, the started in the and changed production methods.
Okay, so strategies. The guide mentions 2 key things.
First, grammar. Look at the gap. What kind of word fits grammatically? Noun, verb, adjective, time phrase.
Right. In that example, the first blank needs the event, a noun, Industrial Revolution. The second needs the time, 18th century.
Exactly. And the second strategy is to listen for the exact words, or again, very close synonyms from the audio.
Sometimes it's direct, like in that example, but the blanks could be anywhere, right? Start, middle, end of the sentence.
Absolutely anywhere. Which means you need to follow the meaning of the whole sentence, not just hunt for isolated words.
So that grammatical awareness really helps you anticipate and fit the pieces together. It's like a little linguistic puzzle.
It really is. Now, the great thing about this guide is it doesn't just give isolated examples. It includes excerpts from a full practice test.
Oh, that's useful. So you see how it all fits together.
Exactly. Like seeing it in action.
Okay, let's glance at those. Section 1, back to the hotel booking. Form completion again. They ask for destination, departure, return dates.
Sydney, June 15th, June 30th were the answers. Really hammering home that need for specifics.
Then section 2, the museum tour monologue example, that had the map labeling task.
Yeah, identifying the entrance, gift shop, Egyptian exhibit, really testing that visualization skill we talked about.
Definitely need to picture it. Section 3, the university discussion, used multiple choice. But it tested both the main topic,
which was climate change,
and a specific detail, the number of case studies they plan to use.
which was 2. So you need to catch both the big picture and the tiny details.
Good point. And finally, section 4, the marine biology lecture example, that focused on note completion or summarizing.
Right. Talking about coral reefs, biodiversity, the threat from rising sea temperatures, extracting key info from complex speech.
So looking at these practice excerpts really shows how the question types mix and, how the difficulty ramps up.
It gives you a feel for the flow and the increasing demand on your concentration.
Okay, so for everyone listening, aiming for that band 7, band 8, even band 9, the guide offers some final crucial strategies. These are the takeaways.
Absolutely. Build on everything we've said. First big one, vocabulary. Keep building it.
Not just everyday words, though.
No, you need academic words too, and topic-specific vocabulary, especially for sections 3 and 4. Think science, environment, social issues.
The wider your vocabulary, the less likely you are to be tripped up by an unfamiliar word or by.
Paraphrasing,
Yeah.
which is the next key strategy. Practice recognizing and understanding paraphrasing.
Right. Because they won't always use the exact words from the question in the audio. Main cause becomes primary reason.
You got to connect those synonyms fast. It's a core skill.
Okay, what else?
Simulating test conditions when you practice. This is huge.
So not just casually listening to a practice test while doing other things.
Definitely not. Time yourself strictly. Use the official answer sheets if you can get them. Minimize distractions.
And use headphones if you'll use them in the real test.
Yes. Get used to the whole setup. Build that mental stamina for sustained, focused listening.
Makes sense. Treat practice like the real thing. And the last strategy.
Identify your weak spots and target them.
Be honest with yourself.
Exactly. If map labeling always trips you up, don't avoid it. Do more map labeling practice. Analyze your mistakes. Why did you get it wrong?
Was it the spatial language? Did you mishear a direction?
Understanding why you made the mistake is how you improve. Targeted practice is much more effective than just doing test after test, hopefully.
Right. Focus the effort where it's needed most.
So, yeah, that's our deep dive into the IELTS listening test structure, the questions, the strategies.
We've covered a lot of ground, from prediction and synonyms to visualizing maps and simulating the test day.
And hopefully, for you listening, this gives you a much clearer path forward, maybe boosts your confidence a bit, makes it feel less overwhelming.
Exactly. And, a final thought. These skills, they're not just for the test. Think about it. Focusing on synonyms, visualizing directions, really listening for key details, that helps with understanding podcasts, lectures, news, even just conversations with friends or colleagues.
It makes you a better listener all around in any situation involving spoken English.
Totally. So maybe reflect on the strategies we talked about. Was it the synonym spotting, the visualization technique, that focus on prediction?
Which one resonates most with you? Which one could you start consciously practicing, even just listening to this deep dive or the next thing you hear today?
Yeah, give it a try. It might just unlock something.
Definitely worth a shot. Well, thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure. It was a good one.
So, the true transformation in your English speaking comes not just from understanding these distinctions between look and its synonyms, or grasping the meanings of its phrasal verbs, but from actively weaving them into the fabric of your own communication. Don't let this knowledge remain passive. Consciously seek opportunities to employ examine when you mean a careful inspection, or seek when you want to add a touch of formality to your search. The more you intentionally practice using look after when you're talking about caregiving, or look forward to when expressing anticipation, the more these nuances will become an effortless and natural part of your English expression. If you found this exploration of look insightful, and you're eager to unlock even more of the subtle power hidden within everyday English words, then taking a moment to tap that like button below is a fantastic way to show your support and encourage us to continue creating detailed lessons like this for you. And for those who are committed to continuous improvement in their English skills, subscribing to our channel ensures that you'll never miss out on our latest videos, packed with practical tips, in-depth explanations, and actionable strategies to elevate your fluency. We're always keen to hear about your learning experiences, so please share in the comments below which of these look variations resonated with you the most, or perhaps even surprised you. Your engagement helps us tailor our content to best serve your learning needs. Keep experimenting with these new tools, keep paying attention to how native speakers use them, and keep looking forward with confidence to the exciting progress you'll continue to make in your English journey.